comment on that, but I am going to ask you a comment on this. Here's Jamie Dimon, number 15, head of JPMorgan Chase, where I keep much of my income, much of my wealth. So I'm sort of conflicted out here. But here's Jamie Dimon on immigration, number 15.
We have to acknowledge the grievances that have put us in this position to start with, and they're real. Okay, immigration. What the hell were we doing? You know, the bottom 20% of our population. You know, their wages didn't go up for 20 years. They're dying 7 years younger. You know, when administrations, you know, the Biden administration is giving all this money to EVs and cars and wasting a lot of money on green stuff, which isn't going to work, and all that. Do you think people in rural cities, do you think people in inner cities thought they were getting anything? Do you think that those people think that the American government is fair and competent and that this was in their best interest? Their schools don't work. They're not getting the skills they need, and you heard that just now. So we got to acknowledge these. And I also call it blue tape, because, you know, Republicans, you generally don't like red tape. You understand the devastation of it. But, you know, most Democrats, they love it. They want more of it. And they want to make it so confusing you can't even meet the rules, so you get punished and fined afterwards.
That guy'd be a good president. Robbie, thoughts on Jamie Dimon's word salad?
Yeah, he's saying a lot there that I agree with. Democrats are beginning, I think, to reckon with how much red tape has strangled the possibility of economic growth. You know, there's this new book. This is the other big book of the moment, the Abundance book by Ezra Klein, which talks about a lot of things. Frankly, a lot of things me as a libertarian and my colleagues at Reason Magazine have been talking about in terms of what the regulations that strangle housing, why we can't build new houses, why we can't build new factories, why we can't do all of these things, has to do with a lot of environmental protection and labor protection and all sorts of things. The Democrats' procedural fetish, even in cases where Democratic administrations at the federal level, they allocate funding to build, you know, electrical charging stations, which maybe that's not a good idea or a bad idea, but they try to do it and they can't do it because there's too much regulation in the way. And that's killing us and making us not globally competitive. I think there can be too much blaming of immigrants going on personally. But I understand there's a lot of frustration with immigrants, and people don't want to feel like people are coming in here and then being taking away from the social safety net, taking away from the welfare system. I get that. We got to fix it so that we can have people come in here and work and help us build something and then grow the country, and then that will be a good thing. You know, we can't just, this is an argument I have with Batya all the time, that I think we can't just make everything here and, you know, go back to the golden days of yesteryear where everything was being built here and all the factories were here. If it's cheaper to do it elsewhere, that is a reality that has to be contended with. But we can still structure the economy better so that it works for everyone. And a lot of things that have gotten more expensive for people: housing, education, healthcare. I would say it has to do with excessive regulations, not necessarily even excessive competition. There are things in the way. I mean, the city of DC, I brought this up, I think, yesterday during the group chat. The city of DC, Democrat-run city, has for years tried to require nursery school teachers to have sociology education degrees. Do you know how much more expensive that makes? It makes those jobs worse because now not anybody can just get them. And it makes the cost of childcare astronomical for people who just need somebody to watch their kids while they work. That to me is insane and is very symptomatic of just an economy that is not working for anyone. And it's because of excessive regulation and credentialing.
Yes, sir. Well said. All right, couple more things.